car's been real good all weekend. Regan's done a phenomenal job. We got a miss with the motor right now, maybe a exhaust header. Something there is not exactly like it's supposed to be right now. So hopefully that holds on. We're still running pretty good laps there at the end. So yeah, we don't try to put it all together. We haven't been able to put one of these road races all together. He's doing a heck of a job. Great job by the pit crew this week, and we pull it off.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that 7 engine. Over to Vince.
With the 60 team, and Scott, that yellow helped you with your fuel mileage, but it's eliminated your 24-second lead. How do you attack this finish now?
We're just going to stick with our plan here. We got a really good car. Being up front's the best place to be. With all the cautions, it takes care of our fuel worries. So I'm kind of disappointed the caution came out because I really thought we had a good plan going there. But we'll be fine here. We've had a fast car all day, been up front all day. I'm just glad that we're getting a chance, or Chris is getting a chance to show everybody what he can really do here.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting down the stretch. Let's go to Rick.
Yeah, here with Alex Tagliani's crew chief, Jeremy Bullins. You've been having a lot of conversations with your driver recently. What have you been telling him?
Just tell him take care of the car, save fuel when you can under these yellows. We're in a really good spot right here. We're pretty conservative on our fuel windows, so we're just trying to make sure that we save some fuel for green, white checkers and hopefully make it to the end of this Nationwide Children's Hospital 200.
You've been talking about points and how important those are in finishing this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every point counts, and it's really important. We're in a great spot right now. We just need to make sure we can get a solid top 5 out of the day.
All right, once again, Jeremy Bullins calmly talking to his driver, making sure he understands everything that's at stake.
Under our 5th caution of the day, this for the wreck involving Jeff Green getting off course in turn number 5. The late Benny Parsons always told me that you could never count on a caution, Dave. And you could also, on the converse of that, count on one not coming out, as we've seen here this afternoon.
So the 14 did have a throttle hang, and evidence of that is the black marks early in, before the apex of the corner.
Leading into the off area where Jeff's car ended up. He was standing on the brakes, but
exactly,
and tires were still going.
Yeah, and the motor was still delivering power to the rear wheels. So really glad that he stepped out of the car. That's a driver's nightmare.
Big hit for the former champion. So the front row, incident-free so far today. Very interesting. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Tagliani speeding on pit road. Brian Scott, grass on the grill, overheating. The 11 of Elliott Sadler speeding on pit road, but now running 5th. It's been topsy-turvy. Pick where you want to be. They come to the restart here, completing 74 of 90 scheduled laps here at Mid-Ohio.
There's an urgency now, Dave, with less than 20 to go.
And contact right there.
You're going to see drivers take risks that they didn't take earlier in the event.
Can't tell how many wide that is. I know the corner is narrow. They work it out.
It gets really narrow here.
2 by 2 by 2. Elliott Sadler through to 3rd. Chase Elliott and Alex Tagliani side by side going into fast turn 4.
Tagliani did not have a good restart and is struggling for some reason right now.
Looks like Elliott's going to get the position. Brendan Gaughan and Justin Marks side by side behind him, the 62 and the 31. That's where Tagliani got off earlier. Marks and Gaughan make it work.
You got to clean your tires under caution. You got to work really hard to make sure they're clean on the restart.
Look where Sadler went.
Yeah, and it appears as though the 22 car didn't have clean tires because he really struggled up through the gears. Made contact with Brian Scott.
Hello, 3rd place for Elliott Sadler. Boy, and they could use a good run today.
Yes.
Sadler, 3rd in the championship, just 11 points out, but hasn't had a lot to stand on lately. Looking to close out today well at Mid-Ohio.
Elliott's got the value of experience, and he uses it well. He's in position to strike.
Ryan Sieg off course in the 39. A lot of dust, but he looks like he's in a grassy area. He gets it refired. We stay green.
Some damage on the left front. So Chris Busch was leading, and we talked about a disadvantage, losing that 18-second lead. I'm going to give you a sort of a counterintuitive approach and say actually it's an advantage again. As we watch Trevor Bayne mix it up. Dylan Kwasniewski.
Kwasniewski gets by for the 9th spot.
It's an advantage because now Chris Buescher can drive, not think about trying to save fuel. That's a very difficult thing. Uncomfortable, not much fun.
And if he drives like he drove the first part of the race.
Exactly. That's the point. He's been a contender all day, done a marvelous job. He's not made mistakes. Look at the car. The appearance doesn't lie. There's not a mark on it.
And from early on showed great speed here at the 2 1/4 mile Mid-Ohio sports car course. He is one of the drivers who has a patient champion with him today, Luke Benner, riding on board, cheering for Chris as the laps wind down here. 14 to go now.
Luke gave us a thumbs up earlier. I think that might have been code for stand on it.
Yeah. Trouble for Elliott Sadler. He's off course. Brian Scott and Chase Elliott are going to get by.
Asphalt's grip. You get onto the dirt and the grass and you spin the tires.
So
got hung in second gear again.
So transmission issues, perhaps?
Got hung in second gear, so you know that breaks your concentration. Every time you shift, you wonder if you're going to have the same issue. Here as Alex takes the high lane. Elliott Sadler now having to regain his composure, get his rhythm back. Rhythm is everything on these road courses.
So move Tagliani to 5th, Sadler back to 6th. You're on board with 4th place Chase Elliott.
When you disrupt that rhythm, it's like you have a skip, you know, and you don't have the same approach into the corners. There's 13 of them. It requires a technique. Every one of them's different. Go back to the accelerator easy. You got to throw some shifts in there, Dave. Transmission's not working. You got your hands full.
13 turns on this road course. There's a lot of work to do behind the wheel. And with that right hand on the shifter lever. Coming by to complete 77 laps for leader Chris Buescher. Seemingly good on fuel and trying to hit his marks and take it home. Let's take a ride with Chase Elliott.
Downshifting as he makes the right-hander. This is a very difficult off-camber where it feels like the banking goes reverse, goes away from you. Starting to have his mirror full, shifts third and into high gear, 160 miles an hour, and he can see the leader from here.
Chris Buescher is that leader. So far, he's led 12 laps here at Mid-Ohio. Can he lead the most important one, or will Regan Smith catch him? The pride of Prosper, Texas, Chris Buescher leads at Mid-Ohio. He's never won in the Nationwide Series. We've had 4 first-time winners this year. Chris is looking to make it 5. He has won on the road course before. ARCA race in 2013 at Road America, but in only his 21st start. Could be his first trip to victory lane.
So if we're basing his contenders on lap times, Brian Scott is going to make a run at him here in the last 10 laps. Brian Scott's running third, but he's got the fastest car. Jim, you got something for us on the 7?
That's right. Regan Smith, second, was just told to race the racetrack, not the 60 car. They seem convinced, the 7 camp does, that Chris Buescher is going to run out of fuel. Regan Smith will try to put some pressure on him to make that happen, but has been told not to overdrive it.
It's funny because we were just having that same discussion in the break, and we've been doing the math, and it's going to be coming down to the last lap. There weren't enough cautions to make this a guarantee or a slam dunk.
Statsman Joe Kramer telling us that 5 laps under caution have been run since Chris Buescher pitted. Ricky putting pen to paper and seemingly not working out for him. Nice onboard look here with Regan Smith.
With a 1.5-second lead, it's really, really difficult to save fuel on a road course because 13 times you're slowing the car. That means 13 times you got to speed it up again. The only way to speed up a race car is to use fuel.
The gap now back to Smith. 1.7 seconds as he tries to chase down Buescher. And Brian Scott not far behind. There you see the gap from the 7 to the 2. And Scott has been one of the fastest cars all day and has led the most laps.
Yeah, he's been consistently 3 or 4 tenths faster than the leader up until that last lap. And sometimes when you try a little hard, you make a mistake in one corner, and that exaggerates your problem. You know, he lost some time with 10 to go.
You see, many of our road course races have had a late caution. We're within 10 to go right now. Chris Buescher hoping that's not going to happen and that his road course skills can hang on to the end and the fuel. There's Tagliani pressuring Chase Elliott for 4th.
Chase had that close call earlier with Brendan Gaughan. Tagliani has had a pit road speeding penalty and had a little adversity on restarts.
And this late in the race, Ricky, we heard about Elliott Sadler having transmission issues. Mechanical things have been used up today and heated up and reheated, and tires are old. This has to be one of the toughest parts of the race.
It's an excellent point because, you know, the equipment can only take so much abuse. And we actually just saw a shot of these drivers using a little different lane through turn 1 there. Did you see that? All 4 tires below the apron. They weren't doing that 30 laps ago. Rick, you got something on the 22?
Yeah, let's talk about the points championship. And these two guys both battling for a points championship, but different ones. You've got Chase Elliott, who's going for the drivers championship. He needs every single point. It's so critical. He can't afford to let the 22 by. The 22, on the other hand, is going for the owners championship. He doesn't care about the drivers. Jeremy Bullins came on to him during that last break and said, look, we know what the big prize is. We know what the points are. We need to finish this race. Whatever you do, make sure you finish this race. So I have a feeling Alex Tagliani is not going to push the issue. If he sees an opening, he'll take it, but he's not going to push it.
And remember what happened at the end of the Road America race. As Alex Tagliani was blasting through the field on fresh tires, he encountered at Canada Corner the 9 car of Chase Elliott going for the championship. And afterwards, Chase and Alex had a little discussion.
So now let me give you a driver's perspective, okay? Let's say we get a caution with 2 laps to go. Alex has never won a race. All of a sudden, there's going to be a radio problem. I'm sorry, Jeremy, I can't hear you. And he's going to drive like he stole it. You know, I mean, it's just that important to win a race. So I agree with what Rick just delivered with 10 laps to go because he's not in striking distance.
8 to go now for Chris Buescher. To the left, both drivers on board. What do you think they're talking about, Ricky?
They're actually saying to one another, we've done all we can do. We can sit here and second guess one another, and we can do the math 7 ways to Sunday, but the bottom line is it just comes down to how easy he is on the gas on corner exit and how much he can roll into the corner. They're not worried because they have what they have.
Bunch of veterans on that team put together this year, a brand new group essentially. Scott Graves taking over the helm for the 60 bunch. Saw Charlie Brock there leaning in, veteran car chief for this group, just discussing what they might have down here to the end. So lack of worry based on tons of experience.
You know, I said earlier, you know, it reminds me of, we're getting busy back here, Dave.
This group begins with Justin Marks in 6th. You see Gaughan there in 7th and on back. With 7 to go, Ricky, it should be busy, shouldn't it?
Yeah, and you got 5 cars in formation, all fighting for position. These are points drivers, nationwide regulars, you know, that are in the championship hunt, in the top 10. You got to love this foot cam. Watch the left foot. We call it trail braking.
Off track for Bain, meanwhile. Kwasniewski to the inside. Whoa, this is getting dicey. Whoa! Kwasniewski and Bain side by side in contact. Not the first time this season, by the way. Here goes Dillon, roughing up Trevor a little bit on the way by.
Yeah, James Buescher at the front of this group right here is pushing water. You can see a little bit.
Come in then. 4 tires between the grill.
See? Right here.
He's in trouble. He's in trouble.
I'm sorry, the 62 car. And, yeah, he's coming to pit road. He's got no choice.
Have to push it big.
And Brendan, after good strategy and fresher tires than some